find anything of interest?
I think maybe. I surfed through the old newspapers.
See, the great thing I can say about this episode is we're like, you know, an episode and a half into the show, and already these characters feel like you've known them far longer than the episodes that, you know, in the duration you've already watched. You really, you know, they really get settled into the characters quickly, the actors, and I can only put it down to the strength of Joss's script, how likeable he makes all of them. You know, a character like Xander can have the danger of derailing a show like this through his... I mean, he's clearly comic relief, but at the same time, you take him seriously enough that he's not bumbling or slapstick. He's just a bit inexperienced, and that works really well. You tend to think a lesser show with this setup would just simply make him the comic relief, and don't get me wrong, he is served as comic relief in so many, but it's more to lighten the tension in the serious bits, and I think it's one of the reasons why Buffy always has that really great balance of humour and horror and tension, and it's interestingly how Joss perfectly balances the tones in this show, and I can't think of many other shows that do it as expertly as Buffy does. And some of the writers that come and go in this show don't always strike that balance right, but he did assemble a really gifted team.
We are as one. Luke is the vessel.
Any idea where this little get-together is being held?
There are a number of possibilities.
They're going to the Bronze.
Are you sure?
Come on, all those tasty young morsels all over the place. Anyway, that's where dress is gonna be, trust me.
Buffy?
Mom,
It's happening again, isn't it?
I promise it is not going to be like before. But I have to go.
No.
Mom,
The tapes all say I should get used to saying it. No.
this is really, really important.
I know. If you don't go out, it'll be the end of the world. Now, if you want to stay up here...
So I said in the last
and sulk,
episode that, like,
I won't hold it
you know,
against
I
you.
always didn't necessarily consider Buffy's mother as an antagonist of sorts, because I always feel that you can see where she's coming from, even if she's not necessarily making the right choices. And I still think this is one of those examples where she's certainly an antagonist to Buffy in this scene because she's preventing her from achieving what she wants to do. But I still think you have that empathy that she's only doing it out of a cause of concern. You know, like she says, we haven't even finished unpacking, already getting a call from the school. So this is one of those scenes where I would say, yeah, she's proving difficult for Buffy. She's certainly an obstacle, but it's still certainly at that point where you can understand why she's behaving like she is. And interestingly, the stake that Buffy put up her sleeve there, that was the same stake they used in like all season 1 promo.
Hello, Miss Murdermouth. Can I get a sentence finished?
See, does anyone
Oh, I love this song.
looking back on this show, obviously Cordelia is written to be a massive bitch here, and for most of season 1 she is, pretty much up until you get to out of sight, out of mind, out of sight. But knowing like where her arc takes her, does anyone else find it really, really difficult to actually like dislike even season 1 Cordelia, because you just know where she's ending up, and a lot of it is just a wall and a facade that her character uses to get by. Has anyone watched much of the HD versions? Because anyone who has will know this shot in particular was absolutely ruined with the reframing. It's so bad. This is why I stick with the region ones, even though the quality's not quite great. Although I'm sure it looks fine in the smaller window we have in this particular setup. It's interestingly because the Scooby Gang gets briefed on making sure Buffy's identity is kept a secret. Yet you imagine a good chunk of like the school that is at the Bronze tonight. So her cover's kind of blown because people will talk about this event. But it's fine.
Heads up.
Even Buffy found that funny there. It's interesting, because that's at least 2 of the vampires have been killed off screen, and yet in later seasons they always put the sound of the dusting, whereas
Jesse, man.
they just don't do it in this episode.
Buddy.
The scene coming up with Buffy and Luke really does just establish the wonderful tone that this show has. This as well.
You don't have the gun.
You forget. Metal can't hurt me.
There's something you forgot about, too. Sunrise. It's in about 9 hours, moron.
It's a super gag. It really is. I guess vampires just have no concept of time. When one is immortal. Hero shot.
Did we win?
Well, we averted the apocalypse. Give us points for that.
One thing's for sure. Nothing's ever gonna be the same.
Well,
How true
I
that
heard
was
it
for all of us.
things, you know, fighting for turf.
We may, in fact, stand between the Earth and its total destruction.
Well, I gotta look on the bright side. Maybe I can still get kicked out of school.
Oh yeah, that's a plan. Because a lot of schools aren't on hellmouths.
Maybe you could blow something up. They're really strict about that.
I was thinking of a more subtle approach, you know, like excessive not studying.
The Earth is doomed.
Remember that line, guys. Remember it well. So that was The Harvest, Season 1, Episode 2, The Harvest, and I just think it complements Welcome to the Hellmouth so well in that it just introduces the world really, really well. The story is pretty much by the numbers and it's quite simple with regards to what we're used to in later series, but I still think it does that job of introducing the characters so well. And like I said, halfway through that episode, already like 2 episodes in, you feel like you know them, and you know, it's just so exceptionally well put together, the show. There's not really much more to say. I would still give that 4 out of 5. And apologies if it was a little bit, if I didn't really say a great deal of interest. This was more of a traditional reaction in a sense, and I found a lot of the humour was landing really, really well. Probably more so than Welcome to the Hellmouth, actually. So yeah, that was a really good episode. I don't need to tell you guys that because you've already seen it before. Next we've got The Witch, which is it's an interesting one. It's not amongst the best of the first series, but you know, we'll get into that. So thank you very much. Please again chuck me some comments, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong, throw us any likes or subscribe if you like what you're seeing and want to see more. I'll try and get the next one up as soon as I can. So until next time, thank you and see you soon. Cheers.